All right, hello everyone. Gary Ryan here with you with today's Fed League Flash, and today is a little something different. It had some comments that came off of yesterday's video, um, and so kind of spurned a train of thought. And so we're going to be talking today about how our current Fed, FPHL, could easily transition over time to a bonehead. Bonehead apparently doesn't like this. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, the cat doesn't like the fact that I'm the only one home. So, uh, anyway, getting back to this, uh, so we're gonna see how things can transition easily to a 16 team league over time. uh, and that's important because any business, you don't want to expand too quickly because then you run into serious problems with overhead and just practical implementation of your business model, and you can end up doing more harm than good. So you don't want to rush things. You don't want to take an approach where you're just overextending yourself and then whoops, everything collapses from the inside. But so we're going to talk today about um, becoming eventually over time a 16 team league. Now, this is a very crude map that I have drawn of the footprint. This footprint includes a geographical footprint, includes both the FPHL in its current state as well as the SPHL, which are the black dots. You have um, Quad Cities and Peoria up here, and anyway, so you can see how if you do things too quickly, just seeing how many teams there are in single A hockey, how you could oversaturate a market. So yeah, you've got to be very, very selective as far as how and when uh, you put everything together. Now, obviously, things are not as simple as what I'm going to present here today. Today is kind of a hypothetical video. Um, there's a ton of things to decide when you want to expand into any market. Do you have a solid ownership group that is in place? That is first and foremost. Do you have a suitable venue? Um, is there uh, a general interest in minor league hockey in said market? A lot of things you can't just throw like this video. I'm just basically in essence throwing darts against the board and seeing where things land. Uh, there's a lot more to it than this, so I don't want anybody who actually um, has knowledge as far as how um, the hockey league, proceeds with getting into new markets. Thinking I'm just being unrealistic with this. Again, this is hypothetical. All right, but anyway, so currently we have 11 teams, and I kind of um, did things according to right now where they are as far as kind of geographical regions. Up here in the Northeast, you have Danbury, you have Binghamton, Elmira, and Watertown. This is the original, right here, this is the original footprint of the FPHL 14 years ago. Everything was in and around New York State. Obviously, now you got Baton Rouge 1,500 miles away from Watertown. So, yeah, there's been a lot of expansion and growth over the years. But sometimes you can run into hurdles and difficulties, and we see that this year with the schedule. First of all, the schedule, not to get into this too long, but the schedule is a little wonky this year, and the league admits that. But it's because A, the footprint is so big right now, and B, we thought we were going to have 12 teams this year, and Delaware just wasn't able to get their situation resolved. So, 11, when you have an odd number of teams, that makes scheduling very, very difficult. So, again, yeah, that's an aside. All right. So anyway, the red teams, Wytheville included, that's the Empire Division. The teams in blue, you've got Motor City and Port Huron here. You have the 4 teams across the south. That's Continental Division. So, in interviews past, Don Kiernan has talked about how, right now, because of the size of the footprint, unbalanced scheduling is a necessity. It'd be nice if you could have Danbury play every single team the same amount of times. It just can't happen that way. Travel costs prohibit it. Just practicality prohibits it, especially, again, when you're dealing with an odd number of teams. So he has talked about he's used the term pod scheduling. In other words, prioritizing regional sections of the league and highlighting that. And we're seeing some of that with this year's schedule. Danbury, Binghamton, Elmira, and Watertown each play each other a ton of times. Baton Rouge, Mississippi play each other 21 times. Port Huron, Motor City play each other 18 times. So, yeah, you want to expand and fill out this footprint. So just to eliminate confusion, I'm going to get rid of our SPHL dots. Sorry, Tennessee. All right, so just so you have a better idea. Okay, this is now just our FPHL. So how do we fill things out? Well, first of all, I mentioned yesterday there is talk about a team doing some exploration as far as, well, could we put a team in Mobile? Now, I want to say, first of all, this is not a plan to put a team in Mobile, Alabama. It is exploration to see, hey, would this be a realistic possibility? Could we make this work? Let's start looking at the data and the numbers to see if this is worth pursuing. So, and this is a good way to start. So anyway, if you divide things into 4 sub-regions, you have your Northeast, which is set. You got your 4 teams here. You got your Northeast here. You have your Midwest. You have a Mid-Atlantic area kind of down here, and then you have your South. So if you get 4 regions or 4 divisions of 4 teams, then things become much more workable with scheduling. And you're still not gonna have every team play each other all the time. Again, it just doesn't practically work. I know the NHL does that, but the NHL has a huge budget. The AHL, the Syracuse Crunch don't make road trips to California to play a whole bunch of California teams. It just doesn't happen. The California and Western teams basically play their own schedule. The teams in the Midwest and the Northeast, they play their own schedule. And then, in the playoffs, those teams could meet, but that's the playoffs. All right, so my proposition, or my assumption, I guess you could say, is that you could say, well, there's 4 divisions, 4 teams each, and then you play each team in your division 10 times. So there's 3 teams in your division. Play 10 here, 10 here, and then the third team is kind of a team that you get paired up to. More regional rivalries. For example, Baton Rouge and Mississippi. They would still play each other 12 times. Again, this is hypothetical. Then they would play the other teams in their conference, the second team in their, the second division in their conference 24 times. That's 3 and 3. Okay, and you can make that more easily work. Yeah, you're still traveling, you're still spending money traveling, but you're not spending a ton of money trying to figure out how to get Baton Rouge to play Watertown, unless it's playoffs. The playoffs are a different animal. So anyway, we're going to start with our proposed team in, well, my goodness, in Mobile. Okay, so now you have 4 teams in the South. You have Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Mobile, and Columbus, all here in the South. All right. Now, there's been talk in the past. Don Kiernan has mentioned the possibility of a team in Beaumont, Texas, which would be about here. I personally think that that's overexpansion. I think your footprint is set. Work with what you got. That's my own take. All right. Because that's just a huge difference between Columbus and Beaumont. It'd be like an 11-hour bus trip, just like some of the trips now are 11 hours. You're trying to cut down on travel. So I think Mobile is a perfect fit myself. Okay, so Mid-Atlantic Division. Well, you start off with Carolina and Wytheville, or the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Okay, now, assuming that Delaware is able to build their arena in Dover and get things organized again, we can say, okay, well, we can put a team there. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm just working with hypotheticals here. Second team could go in southern New Jersey. There's been talk about either Trenton or Atlantic City in the past. Things there have kind of stagnated, but again, hypothetically, you could work. So now you have that region, you have your Mid-Atlantic region, so you have these 2 divisions as one conference, a Southern Conference, and then now you've got your Northeast. Again, we don't have to do anything with that. Northeast is set. All right, so that leaves the Midwest, and this is where I really feel like expansion is needed the most right now to help fill out the footprint and start working towards that 16-team league. At this point, this is going to really help solve a lot of travel problems and scheduling problems. Now, where do you put a team? All right, even though the Hara Arena is gone, which probably is the best, there are still plenty of teams in the Dayton, Troy area of Ohio that could potentially house a team. Again, you need a management group that's solid in order for that to become reality. But that is a possibility. Okay, there's also been a possibility. I'm going to put 3 dots for the Midwest because there's multiple possibilities. There's been talk in the past about putting a team in Bloomington, Illinois. Okay, there was going to be a team during the COVID season. The management group fell apart, and but now the SPHL, even though they've been talking about expansion, they haven't mentioned Bloomington at all. It's kind of an umbrella or a safety net right now for the Peoria Rivermen if they continue to have problems with renewing their lease for their arena. It could be a nice backup, but it seems like SPHL is pretty much committed to expansion to 2 teams, Clarksville, Tennessee, and either Lexington or Louisville in the Kentucky area, which would fill out their footprint nice. But anyway, so we're going to leave Bloomington as a possible. Then the last idea that I had was either the Akron area or Johnstown, Pennsylvania. One of the old NAHL cities has a good arena. Now they have a current NAHL team there. Would they be willing to move that organization in favor of the Fed? Who knows? But anyway, now you see, let's just say they go with this. All right, now you've got your 4 regions. You got 16 teams. That's how it can happen. So we will see. Expansion is a solid yes for the Fed, but again, it has to be done in the right way, in the right time to be successful. The league doesn't want to lose money. So, anyway, let me know what you think about this. Again, remember, this is all hypothetical. It's just a what if. All right, So leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm Gary Ryan. Tune in tomorrow for a history lesson, so to speak, in the Fed. We'll talk to you later.